Afternoon. We're going to start a couple minutes early. I appreciate you all for being here. Thank you for coming. My name is Xavier Bailey, and I am your moderator and your president for Manatee Tiger Bay. Would you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. The topic today is the past, the present, and the future, a deep dive into the changing landscape of education. Our speakers are Dr. Brett Kemker, from Interim Regional Chancellor for USF, Sarasota Manatee. So this is what this is going to be like today, okay? I see. Dr. Larry Thompson, President, Ringling College of Arts and Design. Please give him a round of applause. Representing the State College of Florida, Jamie Smith, Associate Vice President of Communications and Government Relations. Please give her a round of applause. Representing, I'm going to just pause so you all can get everything out. We have Kevin Chapman, the Interim Superintendent, School District of Manatee County. Please give him a round of applause. I think we have the new superintendent that is newly appointed. Please stand. Give her a round of applause. Thank you so much for being here. We have Dr. Paul, is it Gansimer? You'll take that? Like I take Xtavia, they say escalator, all that good stuff. It's fine. I answer to anything X now. He's the Executive Director for Adult and Career and Tech Education for the School District of Manatee County. Please give him a round of applause. I'm going to start with Dr. Paul Gassimer, Dr. G. Dr. G has been in education for 36 years. He has been a teacher for elementary, middle, and high school levels. He has been a school administrator at middle school and high school levels, as well as principal of a middle school. He is now at technical college level. He has been involved with workforce education for 20 years and is presently the Executive Director for Adult, Career, and Technical Education in Manatee County, where he has been for the last 5 years. He coordinates the career and technical programs in middle and high schools, as well as Manatee Technical College. Please give him a round of applause as he comes forth. Everyone would do your 5 minutes here.
5 minutes.
6.
I hope I can give you some good 5 minutes. Good afternoon, everybody. Nice to see you all. So I've been with Career and Technical Education now for about 20 years. Had a chance to get introduced to it when I was at a high school level. So I was an assistant principal at a high school, and I was in charge of attendance and people skipping and all that. And I'd finally get those skippers. They'd finally show up to school. I'd get them that day they showed up. Hey, come here, I got to talk to you. Oh, what now, Mr. G? So I'd talk to them and say, why aren't you coming to school? Well, it's stupid. I hate school. I don't really learn anything. I said, well, maybe there's something else that we can get you there. So I took them down to the carpentry shop. I took them over to agriculture and whatnot. And they liked one of them and they stayed. So then I'm like, wow, this could be really something that the kids really grasp onto, because maybe some of the kids need that to stay at school. After that, I went to a dropout prevention site, which half the school was CTE courses and the other half was GED online. That was back when you could graduate with a GED. So that's what got me interested with CTE, to be able to help students find a direction in their life. They need all the core instruction because we need to have educated students, but sometimes they just need that something different to make it worthwhile for them, that they can say, hey, I think this is something I could do for the rest of my life. So today you see that it's past, present, and future. So one of the schools I worked at was Brewster Technical College. It's in Hillsborough County, and it was established in 1925. When I was there, we had our 90th year anniversary, so I did as much research as I could. So I found pictures of what the classes were back then. So they did have automotive, Model Ts, Model all those other things. I thought that was pretty cool. And then they always had family and consumer science classes because it's about home ec and things like that. But then I ran into something called printing press technician. And then as I kept looking through the history, they had bowling alley technician. And I'm like, wow, that's pretty cool. But the big thing that I learned from that was the technical college side of it, we have to adapt to what our society needs by the technology that we learn and what we have to learn to and what we have to adapt to. So that takes us to present. So right now, Manatee Technical College, we have over 50 different programs, and I will list each one of them alphabetically for you right now. Okay, you can go on the website and look them up. So we have 50 different programs on 2 different campuses, campi. We have it on our East Campus and we have it on our main campus. We do have another building that's part of our campus, and that's for our law enforcement, which was just built and just opened for a shooting range and a driving range to be able to help our law enforcement get trained properly. And that's something that we want to do, is make sure all of our students get the training that they need now. And a lot of it, they get the training that they need to be functional in the future, because we have to teach towards the future, because once they get out of school, they have to start working on what they're doing now, but the businesses always want to move forward and be innovative. So that talks about going into the future. So a lot of things that have changed at MTC goes more towards technology. So we're talking cybersecurity, we're talking career systems, information technology. In our school system and a K-12 system, we're looking at doing things for artificial intelligence. We always have to refer to the state of Florida because they have a frameworks that we have to follow to be able to teach. But that doesn't mean that industry can't be an influencer on that. So what happens is the industry talks to DOE at the state level, hey, we need these workers, this is coming up, we need to do this, we need to do that. And then the state gets everyone together, sorry about that, and they develop frameworks. They push it out to the schools, and the schools can offer those classes. Of course, that usually means now we have to buy extra equipment, we have to get something new to be able to meet that need. So one of the things that we're doing right now that we're in process of is our aviation maintenance program that we're working with, having built over at SRQ, over at Sarasota Manatee Airport. Right now, every time I say it, it changes, so don't hold me to this. As of today, at 12 o'clock, the program should be open around September of 2026, that we can start teaching students about aviation maintenance. And the programs it's called is airframe and power plant maintenance. We want to expand into avionics, and then there are other things we can go into like material science and different things. But that's the one that we have the partnership with Sarasota County and with the University of South Florida to really make it an ecosystem of aviation, education, and maintenance in the area. So I think that was about my 5 minutes. I don't want to overextend my time, but that's what we're doing with MTC. If you ever want to come out and look at it, great. If you want to be a business partner, we'd love to have you. If you need some workers and you have ideas, we also do apprenticeships as well. So thank you very much.
Actually, you were fine on time. You'll see me stand up if you start going towards your 5 minutes. So don't worry about it. I got you. Next, we're going to have Dr. Larry Thompson, President, Ringling College of Arts and Design. Dr. Larry Thompson, President of Ringling College of Art and Design since July 1999, champions the need for businesses to embrace creativity to thrive in the 21st century global economy. A lawyer and educator, Thompson previously served as special assistant to the president of the Ohio State University. CEO. I'll take some time. You want to do that one more time? The Flint Cultural Center, and the founding executive director of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and Museum. Thompson is the former president of the Association of Independent Colleges of Art and Design. is the former chair of President's Council of the Independent Colleges and the Universities of Florida, and serves on the boards of many local arts and civic organizations. Dr. Thompson has been the recipient of numerous academic and humanitarian honors and awards for his service as a visionary leader and educator. Stop that.
You better get that.
Are you all set? Did you need anything?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. I'm very timely. I'm very sorry I was a little late. I got totally lost by Google, okay? They sent me somewhere else, okay? Anyway, I've been told to go to a lot of different places, but not when I was going to be giving a talk. So Ringling College of Art and Design. Anyway, Ringling College of Art and Design is a small private college. We have about 1,600 students, and they come from all over the world. Okay, so we're one of the premier art and design colleges in the world. Now, because we're talking about past, present, and future, I can talk a lot about the past. I can talk a lot about the present, but I'm going to talk a lot about the future, and let me tell you why. Because we're always looking at the future at Ringling. And how do we keep our students at the cutting edge of the art and design profession? And as we all know, the world is changing, and it is changing more rapidly than we've ever probably seen it. And that's our job as educators, is to keep up with what's going on so we can be ahead of the students. And that's not easy in today's world, because the students tend to be ahead of us in a number of different ways. So what do I see in the future, okay? Well, one of the things I want to talk about is what I think is the most important skill, not the only skill, but one of the most important skills for the future and for our students, which is the whole aspect of creativity. And there's a number of reasons for it. First of all, the creative economy is one of the world's most rapidly growing economies. At a UN conference on trade and development, it contributes to about 10% of the global GDP all over, and the figure is growing almost exponentially. And the creative economy is defined as the intersection of arts and culture and technology. Those areas now generate like $2 trillion annually and about 8% of the jobs worldwide. But by 2030, it's estimated it might be close to 40%, okay, of the workforce. So it's just tremendous, okay? So what's different and why does that matter? Well, before I answer those questions, I'm going to give you a little historical context. So as a society, we've moved from a lot of different ages, the agricultural age, industrial age, and also what we're in now, the technology age. And we as a society have evolved as we've gone through that. What I see in the future is that we will become immersed in what I like to call the creative age. And what that means is the way we think and the way we educate our young people has to change. Historically, the left side of the brain is largely responsible for logical, analytical, sequential, and linear thinking. It's the left brain. The right side of the brain, however, is largely responsible for creativity, nonlinear thinking, intuitive thinking, and holistic thinking. Okay, so those are the two sides of the brain. So what have we valued throughout the ages? The left side of the brain, the logical, analytical, so on and so forth thinking. And that's still true today in many ways. But by moving into what I like to call the creative age, and especially with the advent of artificial intelligence, and that's a big game changer, a huge game changer. The right brain skills, creativity, design thinking, imagination, holistic thinking, and emotional intelligence will probably become the most important skills for our future generations. And it's these right brain skills that we value the most at Ringling College. Now, let me give you a couple of facts. Business leaders have begun to realize the importance of creativity of the future. Indeed, in a recent IBM study, 1,500 top CEOs were asked what skills were necessary for leaders of tomorrow. The number one skill, creativity, okay? The number one skill. In this future, I see that it will cause our systems to change because right now we emphasize, what do we emphasize? STEM, science, technology, engineering, math, okay? Now, personally, I'm a STEM guy because I majored in math. I'm also a lawyer, but I'm recovering from all that. Because now I happen to head up an art and design colleges. They're still very, very important, but they don't necessarily teach you how to be creative, okay? Which again is the number one skill that many employers are saying. That's why I'm an advocate for STEAM. So you got STEM with the A added in between, in the middle, and where creativity is valued. Now, it's not about being an artist or designer, okay? That's not what I'm trying to say about that. I'm just saying you need to be creative in all fields, no matter what. It is about being open to new ideas, about being able to think very differently instead of just linearly. You have to be able to think all over the place. And the other thing that is interesting that would drive my math professors crazy because you have to have many answers to problems, not just one, okay? So that involves flexibility, motivation, curiosity, empathy, and skills that enhance those abilities to be creative. The other thing you need to have in order to have these creative skills is the acceptance of failure. Think about that. We fail people, or people fail, but you know, that is seen as being very bad, okay? We at Ringling see it as being very good because you have to accept that failure in order to move on and be able to improve what it is that you have done. So all those F's people got, those are now A's. No. So being able to accept that failure is important because that's how you learn to adapt and generate new ideas. So we have to look at our entire educational system of how we teach people. So let me deal a little bit with artificial intelligence because I've been talking about this for years and it's now here, okay? And it's now impacting us daily. It is creating huge challenges and amazing opportunities for industries. Although it's still fairly new, we must remember that we as humans have continued to adopt and adapt as these kinds of new things have happened. So in many ways, you know, the AI is going to be the fourth industrial revolution because it's going to affect the future of almost everything. All you have to do is talk to any educator and they're scared, you know what. But we're not afraid of it at Ringling. We're embracing it. We view it as a new companion for our students, not a competitor. Because we see it as another tool for students to use, much like they use a computer as a paintbrush, or use their VR headsets to bring immersive experiences to life. And so we're integrating AI tools into many, many classes as applicable and created even a certificate program right now. And we're creating a whole new major on creative technologies that includes AI. One of the things that creativity is that you will never replace humans because they're the ones who have the creativity. AI doesn't have it. It looks like it at times, but it's not, okay? It's always from something else that was created before. So that's an interesting part that we need to do. So I think it's going to be a very challenging time for almost all of education because you're talking about a revolution that's occurring with the advent of AI and what it can do, and not knowing whether it's factual, not factual, true, not true. I mean, it's very, very troublesome, but all those things will obviously be worked out. But the important thing is you got to deal with it, and you got to deal with it in a way that's creative, so you're still creating new things. And so, it's a lot of perseverance and willingness to learn from our failures, from our mistakes, and to accept that failure, because it's through that experience that we grow. So it's a pleasure to be here today. I mean, it's a scary time in higher ed. It's a scary time for young people because no one knows what in the world to expect. But we've been through times like this before. We will adapt, and we will change. Thank you. See, I didn't get the hook, though. She said I was over.
You're good. We started a little early. Please give him another round of applause. Next, we will have Jamie Smith, Associate Vice President, Communications and Government Relations with SCF Manatee Sarasota. She is a Public Information Officer, Associate Vice President of Government Relations of State College of Florida, Manatee Sarasota, with over 25 years of experience in integrated marketing, public affairs, and strategic communications. She holds an MBA in Management and Marketing and is a graduate of Leadership Florida and Gulf Coast Leadership Institute. As SCF spokesperson, Smith leads media relations and government outreach, earning numerous state and national honors, including the Telly Award, SCF's Innovation Grant, and multiple awards of excellence. She is widely recognized for strengthening public engagement, building community awareness, and gilding the college through major initiatives and crisis communications with clarity and credibility. An adjunct professor, Smith teaches business, marketing, and communication courses, providing students with practical, real-world insight. She is active in professional organizations and community volunteer work, always learning, connecting, and capturing the moment with her signature selfies. Please welcome Jamie Smith.
Thank you, Xtavia. I didn't realize she was going to read the whole bio, but that's all right. Usually I'm the one behind the scenes, so this is a new experience for me, and I'm grateful to President Tommy Gregory for giving me the opportunity to represent SCF today. I really took it to heart when she said past, present, and future, and I have to tell you, yes, I am a PIO and I am an AVP, but first and foremost, I consider myself a teacher. And I was teaching last night, and it's funny, some of the conversation related to what Dr. Thompson was saying about AI, and I'm going to share that before I get started, but the student is like, AI is going to take over. I'm like, really? This is going to be a fun debate. Tell me how it's going to take over. I said, is it going to take over your emotions? Well, no, but it tells me what to say. And I said, but why does it tell you what to say? You have to give it context. You have to give it that light and that kind of direction to tell you what to say and how to say it. You have to give it direction. It's always going to be fed by a human. He says, now wait a minute. He's a real tiger in the room. And he says to me, but when I submit my resumes, it reads through the keywords and it tells them if they should interview me. I said, okay. I said, again, another nice active debate. So one student out of, I think it was about 10 in the room, and I looked to the other students and I said, how many of you want to get hired because a computer looked at the keywords on your resume? No. They said, no, thank you. So they do want that human interaction. But let's talk about the past. I got a little funny. I'm a little punny if you know me. So we went from a chalk and rows of desks, from projectors to whiteboards as teachers. And as students, we went from 3-ring binders and notebooks. I still don't understand why we needed all those 3-ring binders. We went from typewriters to word processors. Little did we know those word processors, those little screens where it went dee, 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 that would be preparing us for the future, right? And then we went to computers, DOS. I first learned on a computer when it was DOS, and I actually reprogrammed one of my classroom computers, and I don't think that teacher has yet forgiven me for that because it could not be used. And then the experiential learning, the hands-on learning was nature journals and models, and yes, even cadavers for the clinical world. I see dead people. And the subjects were, like you mentioned, home ec, shop. I took both. I took shop and home ec, but there wasn't much beyond that, right? Because it was more about home, maybe some fiscal literacy, those types of things. And it was all about remembering. They were teaching you to remember, right? Who remembers PEMDAS? Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Haha, see? All right. And for those of you feeling young at heart right now, how many of you watched or remembered the Jetsons? So just think, you can say you knew all about the technology before some generations were even born. You're welcome. And now you sound like your parents and a teacher. So let's talk about the present, which is really a juxtaposition. The very technology designed to make us self-sufficient is also what we now rely on to connect, collaborate, and build community. It also is what Dr. Thompson was saying is causing us the most stress and causing us to make more sense of and pay attention to our own mental health, because every opportunity we're getting poked by a different medium, platform, etc. Remember when we were in school, we were focused. We didn't have to worry about a cell phone or what I consider now my nemesis, that red little dot on all the apps that says 1, 2, 200, 23,000, right? And that's what our students and whatnot are facing today. There's a lot of ways to get poked, distracted, and things of that nature. But for teachers today, yes, we still exist. We are mostly trying to teach the ethics behind the learning aids that we have. We use laptops, smartboards. The newest is the New Lines interactive board, and we have a ton of learning management systems that give us a variety of ways to interact with our students. Our hands-on experiential learning opportunities have changed from journals to actual simulation centers, where as a nursing student, I can go in and perform and take blood and give medication to what seems like a real human. It is kind of freaky. And then also, it's my students, when they use ChatGPT, because it gives them all the answers, my biggest question to them is, again, why did ChatGPT say that? What is the reason why? You have to understand why it's giving you that answer, even if you prompted with, do my homework for me. You still have to understand the subject matter. So being a true teacher, and Xtavier's gonna hook me, I know it, I'm gonna try to be engaging, because that's what today is about. The students, you have to be engaging, and I want you to be engaging. 30-second pop quiz. Whoever raises their hands and answers these two questions right gets a $25 Wawa gift card. 1, what type of degrees does SCF offer? And 2, true or false? SCF's health profession students pass their national exams 99% of the time on their first try.
Associates and bachelors, and yes.
True. True. She's right. You get the gift card. Congratulations.
All right.
So, most of our health professions, their students pass their national exams 99% of the time on their first try. That's huge and that's significant. And then today's students are working on mobile devices, laptops, and one of the important things I wanted to point out is gone is the tradition of you're focusing on learning, you're not working. Most of our students especially are non-traditional. They're working and learning. They're working full-time jobs. Ask me what time my class was last night. From 7 p.m. to 9:50. That's when I was teaching last night, because that's when those students can be in that classroom, because they're working, supporting their families, etc. Okay? And they're learning from anywhere. I teach online classes as well. I'm teaching over 175 students. I have some that are in Mexico, on the beach, everywhere. They're learning from everywhere, and that's what's key. It's important, right? And they're learning from AI tutors. If I'm not teaching them well enough, they don't like my voice, they don't like how they say it, they go get an AI tutor. They say it much better, I guess. And our subjects, we do everything from general education, the core courses per degree. If you're studying nursing, of course, you're gonna have chemistry and all those things. And then we have fun electives, which we know. How many, we know, raise your hand. If you keep a student engaged, and that's why I'm trying to do it with you, the more successful they are. So we offer electives like kayaking, film, music, art. We have students that are now on Broadway, right? First it wasn't their major, but now they are. It is, right? And today it's less about memorization and more about application. Teachers are moving from sage on the stage to guide on the side. When I'm teaching, I'm not in front of the classroom. I'm walking around. I'm asking the student, I'm engaging, I'm encouraging that debate. I've got 3 minutes, I'll finish it, I promise. And then the future. Teachers will still exist and will help students know the difference between fact and a hallucination. And if you don't know that, you should look it up. That is what AI is going to generate if it's not true. It's called a hallucination. We'll use VR and AI to offer imaginative learning experiences. Think about a field trip to the Great Wall of China. and you're not even left your seat, right? We can create even more customized learning paths per student. If I know a student doesn't read very well, I can do videos, I can do YouTube, and all via free platforms too. They don't have to pay for it. That's one of the other things, we're affordable. And then no, seriously, why did ChatGPT say this? Still gonna ask that. And please only try this with your VR glasses on, right? Don't try it, try it only with your VR glasses. And the students, they're going to require lots of self-discipline because a lot of it's self-guided and using technology and things of that nature. They're going to have micro-credentials and be lifelong learning instead of it's a one-and-done degree, right? It's no more just get your associates. It's where can I keep getting credentials, certificates, and things of that nature. And the subjects, this is how I wanted to close and tell you. We're going to keep working with you as our community partners. True or false, our dental hygiene program was founded because dental companies came to us and said, we need more dental hygienists. True, very good. Tomorrow's education will be less about where you learn and more about how you keep learning forever, and human input for decision-making, ingenuity, and social and individual perspective. And for those of us, like he said, who fear AI, IR, and the Megatron computer, here's the good news. We have neuroplasticity. We're born with survival instincts and a competitive edge. Just ask Rudy from the Jetsons and Vicky from iRobot. And if all else fails, just unplug or turn off the device, because at the end of the day, the real power is always in our hands. Thank you.
Well, what I learned from my friend Jamie today is that she likes the Jetsons. You know, I teach business classes, and I teach online also, and I'll tell you, debating a student on why their business plan has nothing to do with their business. That's why I have this stress thing on today. Never mind. If you see it, it's a little stress testing, but never mind. But anyways, thank you, Jamie. Please give her a round of applause. Next, we'll have Kevin Chapman. He's the interim superintendent, School District of Manatee County. And if you know Kevin, you know he cares about the district and our schools. And sometimes he steps into a lot of different positions to keep it moving forward. Kevin is currently our interim superintendent of School District of Manatee County. Prior to joining the district in June 2019, Kevin was chief of staff at the National Office of Big Brothers Big Sisters of America. And before that, he spent 20 years in Washington, D.C., serving as a senior presidential appointee for 2 different presidential administrations, Obama and Bush, and for a United States Senator and former U.S. Secretary of Defense. Kevin graduated from American University in Washington, D.C. with a BA in Political Science and Criminal Justice and the School of Public Affairs 4-year leadership program. Please give him a round of applause as he talks about K through 12.
Thank you, Xtavia and Tiger Bay. Everybody gets a Wawa gift card, all right? No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. You outdid us. I mean, if I knew that.
I told you I'm a teacher.
Yeah, no, that's a good one. But thank you, Xtavia. And I don't know if you all, we were talking up, well, I guess I was talking about it. Maybe you all were listening. But there's a movie called, I think it's called The Two Popes, and it's about 2 living popes, and it's actually a pretty good movie. And lately I've been thinking about that as Dr. Breslin is incoming superintendent, and I'm superintendent, and it's kind of like having 2 popes, and maybe I go and reside in some chateau and live out my papacy, you know. But we are so excited, and I think the community is as well, to welcome Lori Breslin to be our next superintendent. I have a feeling she's going to be our superintendent for a very long time, and I know we're very proud of that and excited about that. And Jamie Carson and I and Dr. Breslin were trying to play around with some titles for some upcoming speeches, and one we came up with was Manatee Made, Manatee Strong, to kind of define Dr. Breslin's experience and career. So one day you'll stop hearing from me and you'll hear from Dr. Breslin, which is great, and I'm excited about that. But we're obviously very excited. It's an honor to be on the stage with these amazing individuals and colleagues. You know, you can tell already how amazing it is to work in this space. I wish Dr. Thompson was my college president, because it sounds like I could have failed a lot of classes and had a pretty good time. I think I remember I think it was sophomore year, I had to meet with, Dr. Ellebrock's laughing, she's taking notes, but I had to meet with the Dean of Academic Affairs, and when I didn't know that meant like I was really in trouble, and now I know, oh well, I guess I missed that opportunity, but would like to go to Ringling, because that is a pretty neat institution, but yeah, there's a lot obviously going on in the K through 12 space, right? When you talk about the past, present, and future. When you talk about the past, especially here in Manatee County, there is a rich history of education. It goes back to 1897, and many of you in here are graduates of our schools. Many of you have your children and grandchildren in our schools, and then look what's going on today, where on this side of town, there's a rich history and generations who've gone to many of the schools around here, and then you drive, well, it's going to take you probably 2 hours, but you drive to the East County, and we've got brand new schools and legacies being built out there, and traditions and things being built out there, even to this day, with 2 new schools being opened up this year, massive schools. Very, very large, and we're actually adding buildings to them as we speak, even though they just opened. And then we've got our 8th high school about to be built over again in land that, if any of you have been around a long time before me here, was just orange groves or ranch for cattle. And now we're going to build a $180 million high school on it. So pretty amazing to see that change happened so quickly. But yet, as some of my colleagues up here have mentioned, what doesn't change is that human interaction and the power of that teacher in the classroom, and having that quality teacher and that human interaction is so key. And especially as in the school district, as we tackle the challenges we face with our reading proficiency, and our graduation rate, one of the things that is a huge factor, if not maybe one of the sole factors to those two things moving, is the fact that almost 1 in every 3 students in Manatee County is chronically absent in this district. So 1 in every 3 Manatee County students is chronically absent, and it doesn't matter where they live. They could be on a 3-week vacation in Europe, or they could be we have students to this day who still haven't come to school yet. And many of my colleagues who've been in education a long time tell me they come after Labor Day. And we kind of say, yeah, they just come after Labor Day, and then we'll capture them, and you're like, wow, that's a month of learning that's already been lost. We had some data today that showed that how many kindergartners, right? The statistic was, I think we're missing like 300 kindergartners or something that should be in our kindergarten classes, and they're not. And so that, if we can fix that here in Manatee County, it's really a problem across the state, really across K-12. But if we can fix that in Manatee County, that's when we can start with some other work, but really start seeing numbers when it comes to reading proficiency and our graduation rate. We are very proud that we moved our graduation rate. It was pretty slow there for many years, but it made a huge leap last year. Very close, it's about 88.23%, which is a huge leap, and we'll probably get to 90% at the end of this year, which is gigantic. It's probably where it always should have been, and that took a lot of work to get to that, and hopefully we'll get to that 92, 93, 94% that you see really successful school districts at, and the team's really working hard on that. I know one of the things that Dr. Breslin is really serious about, we all are, is making a quantum leap when it comes to reading proficiency. I think I mentioned at the Manatee Chamber speech last week that I'm tired of having superintendents come up here and tell you, we're working hard on proficiency and we're doing this and doing that, and then the number really never really moves or goes over the state average. We're still below the state average. And so what we're determined in the school district is really make that quantum leap. And so we kind of looked at everything and said, let's scrap some of these things that aren't working or that we've been doing for many years and try some new things. So one of the things that is happening this year, because of the millage referendum, we're able to afford a literacy coach in every elementary school in Manatee County, which is going to be a game changer. It's about a $3-4 million cost that we could not have ever afford if it wasn't for the millage referendum. And so now there's a highly effective literacy coach in every elementary school, and we think that's a huge game changer. All of the data shows that that is going to make a difference. It's something Pinellas County did to make their quantum leap. They're up to about 65% plus in reading proficiency. We're down at about 54%, and that's where they were just a few years ago. So, and there's many other things that we're doing that we're looking at things very differently, and so hopefully we feel pretty good that the next superintendent will come up here and tell you that a big quantum leap was made. So when you look at the past and present and future, and you look at all this conversation that's going, I think the one thing that remains true in Manatee County is the fact that we're very proud of our school system. And I think when a community is proud of its schools, is positive about its schools, that usually reflects in everything else that's going on in the county. That usually means the quality of life is very good, the economy is very good, people want to live here, people want to work here. There's a thriving community when people are proud of their schools and happy about their school districts. So we want to keep that going. That's a tradition that's been going on for over 125 years. The table in the back here is not only with our new superintendent, but it's also with all of our colleagues, many of our colleagues from the school district, who come not only for a nice lunch, but also because we really work well as a team and working hard every day to work with all of our fine institutions up here and to really help this county continue to move forward. So thank you all. Appreciate all for what you all do. There's many friends, probably everybody in here is a friend and a partner and a colleague in themselves in helping us move that needle. So thanks again for everything you're doing. So thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. Next, we'll have Dr. Brett Kemker, Regional Chancellor and Vice Provost, University of South Florida, Sarasota Manatee Campus. Was appointed Interim Regional Chancellor, University of South Florida, Sarasota Manatee Campus in January 2025. Having served as a Regional Vice Chancellor since 2018, he maintains his role as Vice Provost for Academic Affairs and Student Success. A leader in higher education for more than 20 years, his career is exemplified by distinction in developing and leading innovative initiatives and complex, large-scale transformation, including consolidation of 3 campuses into one: University of South Florida, AAU Carnegie, R150K plus 50K plus students. Prior to joining USF, Kemker held senior leadership roles at the University of New Orleans, the University of Southern Mississippi, and Florida State University. He holds a Bachelor's of Arts degree from the University of South Florida, as well as a Master's of Arts degree and doctorate from University of Florida. He has additionally completed executive leadership and management certification programs through Harvard Business School. Please give him a round of applause as he comes forth. Thank you.
Well, that was exhausting.
You're getting timed.
Yeah, okay. Do we have PowerPoint? There we go. Okay. All right, thank you. Okay, we're going to look at the past, present, and future of the Sarasota Manatee campus and also USF as a whole. But then I also want to raise some context around how we think about AI, and that will be the future component to this. So, as you heard, we did consolidate in 2000. That was the pandemic year. It actually turned out to be an advantage that everybody had to stay home because it removed the geography from the equation, right? We're all on teams when we were consolidating. We we don't have an enrollment cliff that the rest of the country has. A lot of that has to do with just living in the state of Florida, right? We had over 74,000 applications to USF. We admit about 7,000 freshmen every year, and this fall we have 6,700 of those that we admitted actually enroll and will be attending. So we're very proud of that. Look at the average GPA of this incoming freshman class. It's a 4.3. That's amazing. And that's, that really speaks to the caliber of the students. When you have 74,000 applications, you could just take the cream, right? And that's what we do. It accelerates what we can learn and teach in the classrooms. These are colleagues, they're not students. And we tackle problems with that in mind, that they are colleagues. The average class at the Sarasota Manatee campus has a ratio of 13-1. And so the students, we actually know them. We know them by name. And that's a huge advantage. And it's also a great place for these students to start. See. So this past summer we had a banner year. We served over 11,000 unduplicated count students. That blew the doors off of anything we've ever done. So over 11,000 students were enrolled at the Sarasota Manatee campus for this summer. Very proud of that. We have just built a student center and the Atala Residence Hall. They're now coming up on a year old, and that's just one example of an expansion. You'll see some more expansions coming up in 2026 as well. We were invited to join the AAU, the Association of American Universities. There was only one in the state, and that was the University of Florida. Now there are two public institutions. University of Miami also has the AAU designation, but they're a private school, as you guys know. There are only 71 universities in this elite club, and it is a fantastic accomplishment and acknowledgement from these top-tier universities that we are doing things and doing enough to be recognized for that. If you look, so what does that mean? Well, if you look at the federal funding that comes down, 64% of all federal funding goes to these AAU institutions. So we're now in a more advantageous place, and we're going to try to take as much advantage of that as possible. We also, and this is amazing, we are the first university to establish a college of AI in the United States. And so we did get a rather large gift. It was the largest gift that we've ever received, a $40 million gift to start this. Apparently being in the tech business is very lucrative. Wow. So he also, Mr. Bellini also promised to match any contributions up to $10 million. So he's all in on this. The college will officially open this fall, and we already have 3,000 students that will begin the class, the inaugural class. So we're excited about that. So what's on the horizon for the future? If we've all talked about AI and cybersecurity. The emphasis is teaching to embrace it and not say, oh, we're doomed, right? People use the Terminator movie reference a lot, and I think one of the phrases in there was, our fate was decided in a nanosecond. Well, I don't believe that, and it's based on what everybody here has been talking about. It's an incredible opportunity, and I'll get to more of that in a second here. So, management. Think about management, and we offer management programs, but we're managing people. Well, now we have an AI employee, and I think, you know, we shouldn't be looking at AI as one thing, one component. I think every company will have its own AI employee, and you can program it to do anything you want. So with regards to that and the human oversight, we need to expand our management programs to address this. And I think there's a great opportunity here for us to teach our future leaders and managers that management component is extremely important. You're going to see AI employees, and they'll all be a little different, and you know, they're programmed by that company to do specific things. So the management of that, I think, is going to be essential for us to expand our curriculum to account for that. So future growth, you know, I don't think there's anything surprising about this slide. You know, we have, certainly have allied health. The fastest growing demographic in Sarasota is people over 80. So I think they're going to need some allied health. I'm getting close, I think. So also business analytics, finance. We have huge finance programs. What we do is every finance student that goes through at the undergraduate level are also certified in Bloomberg, so that they don't have to get that credential when they leave our school and are hired by a company. So that's a huge advantage there for our students when they're applying to a program or a institution. So that's my time. This is the last slide. Yeah. So this is the first week of welcome, and our students are all over the place at Sarasota Manatee campus. You still have better parking than you do in Tampa, for those of you who have noticed that. So a lot of energy, love the energy from having the students around. I'm focused on experiential learning and plugging that into every program that we offer. The University of South Florida offers 224 programs that you can major in. You can start any of those at the Sarasota Manatee campus. So a lot of opportunity, a lot of options there. We are talking with the Dean of the College of the Arts, and also there's a new Dean for the College of Engineering. They're very excited about coming down to Sarasota Manatee and establishing some programs here. So really looking forward to that. We've really just got that ball rolling. I also think there's opportunity to, and Larry, you I think would appreciate this, is combining and doing some programming in engineering and art. And I think that's probably old hat for you, but I might be asking you to go to lunch to talk more about that. Sure. But anyway, I think that's a great opportunity. And you know, my tagline, it's not just higher education, it's higher purpose. And you know, we're creating global citizens that will be leaders within their community, are active participants in their community, and we couldn't be prouder. Thanks for your time.
Please give all our panelists a round of applause. Thank you so much. This is the time we have our Vanna Christie back there, because we don't have a stand, so she will bring you the microphone. You all can pass down the mic as they ask questions. If you have a question, you can either go to Christie or raise your hand and she'll come to you. If you want to ask a question, please do not elaborate. Try to just be forward with your question so we can get to the panelists so they'll be able to answer for you. Do we have any questions from the audience at this time? Of course, Glenn.
For the record, Glenn Giblina, great to see you all up there. As a community activist in affordable housing, my question is, all your students, my daughter just graduated UCF, so I'm done paying that dorm fee. But my question is, there's a challenge that people come in, especially from around the world. How are we gonna solve the housing problem for these students so they're not working 2 and 3 jobs and trying to keep that 4.3 average? I know you just added some dorms at yours, but you know, you're way behind in dormitory at every level. From state, my daughter went to state college for 2 years. You know, that's the only thing that saved her was living at home. And housing is a big thing. The question is, how are we going to help these students find affordable housing so it doesn't break the bank?
Any one of you can pick it up and you just pass it down. He's the one got that $40 million.
I'm gonna make sure it's working for you, Doctor. Doing my part.
It's working.
So I'm sitting on the end for a reason. I see this. Yeah.
I'll turn my chair.
It's a very serious question. And, you know, the first thing that popped into my head were our international students who come over. We're having a lot of trouble with visas and just getting them into the country for a lot of reasons. But it's a much broader issue than just the international students. We try to shape, and you just paid UCF for their residence halls. You know, what we try to do is shape the rent to be somewhat less than what you can get out in the community. But it's, you know, we can't compete with 4 people renting a house. You know, that's actually a lot less expensive, or 5 people. So it's a constant battle. It's certainly on our minds. You know, through our advancement, we look for scholarships and scholarshiping opportunities. We actually are finding some partners in that. We have a nursing program, for example, and that nursing program, we've got PAM Health that has actually bought rooms for the students. That's fantastic. And I don't think there are any strings attached to that, are there? No. So it's not like we'll rent your room, but you got to stay with us for 4 years. None of that. So I think that's just the start, but I think that's a campaign that we're really going to lean into. So I appreciate your question. Thank you.
Maybe I'll talk about the K-12 space, Glenn. And Glenn, as you all know, has been a huge advocate on this issue, and I think you still sit on the board, right, of the County Affordable Housing Committee. And in the K-12 space, a couple things are going on. Matter of fact, I have a meeting tomorrow with Mark Vandergraaf, who's going to send me, I think he's got 30 apartments for our teachers, which is really going to be awesome. Dr. Breslin, in her former position, went overseas and found a group of amazing teachers from Spain who are now going to spend 3 years here teaching in our classes, and they actually all live in an Airbnb. But we're starting to think through that a little bit, and we know that if we can find housing for them or work with all of our partners in and out of government, imagine how many more teachers that probably we could get here and provide housing for. Also, our board, our school board, has been very interested in pursuing what some other school districts have done around Florida, and it scares the the attorneys in the room when the school district starts to get into some of this stuff, because our only job is education, and it's very strict in the law. So when you start to dabble into housing, all the attorneys get start charging you a lot for their hourly rates, but but other school districts have somewhat figured it out. There's also a little trick too, because of any land that we have, actually it has to go to charter schools first. We can't just say, well, we've got 10 acres, let's build housing. By law, that means you have to surplus the land, so you have to kind of work around some of these things, and do it legally, but we do have some plots of land around Manatee County that are places where schools can't be, just because of there's schools already on the property, and maybe there's 5-6 acres that you wouldn't be able to surplus anyway, where the board is exploring some ways that we could partner and build some things that, once built, we could be at arm's or 2 arms length away, but we know that they could be provided for our team members. So we're definitely looking at it, Glenn. It's something that's very important to us. As hard as it is to keep raising that teacher salary, we're doing as best we can with the millage referendum, thanks to, again, all of the voters in Manatee County. And we have essentially a qualified teacher in almost every classroom in Manatee County. I think we have one of the lowest right now. Our fill rate is one of the lowest right now, meaning we've doing very well in who's in front of our kids right now. But we know as the economy keeps going, keeps shrinking, keeps expanding, and as salaries don't follow with that, we know that housing is something that is key to that. We have a very good benefits package that we are very proud of, and that's something that's been key to attracting teachers and that millage referendum. But we know housing is going to be a key to that. So I appreciate your work on this, Glenn, as we continue to work together on it.
Come on, you can ask your question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Liv Coleman. I'm a professor of political science at the University of Tampa, and I live in Bradenton. And thanks so much for your excellent presentation. I have a question about a particular aspect of the future of education, either at K-12 or higher level, and that's the future of online education. It seems like there was a lot of exuberance and enthusiasm about it in maybe the 2010s, but then as we hit the pandemic, people realized actually the limitations of it in some ways, and it was important to get kids back physically in school. And now with AI, it seems like challenges are getting even more intense because of authentically assessing people in that space. So I was just curious about your thoughts about the future of online education.
Do you have a particular person, or anyone can answer it? Okay.
And that's a very good question, because we tend to polarize things. It's either, all online or not online. But what we're doing is we're going hybrid, and we're listening to our students. So the class I spoke about last night, it's actually hybrid. Every other week is online, and then every other week is in person. And in that class, it's a principles of marketing class. And by that very definition, I always ask the students, how am I doing? Am I marketing to? What are we doing? We have surveys posted in every classroom. Tell us what you need, when you need it. So we're really listening to our students and telling us what they need. We have a Go Live where it's also where it's not just online, where I'm going into a chat room or I'm filling stuff out. We're actually on video chats with the students and doing that. That's why we're getting the new advanced new line boards, so that there is more interaction. And again, the student can be anywhere. And they can participate. And then what I think again, remember talking about how students are going to become self-disciplined and realizing what it is they need or what they can do. Again, listening to them, they're going to need to decide if online learning is for them. I know I would never take a statistics course online. Right? And if you're in the medical profession, or if you're going into something clinical, it's most likely going to require that you do things in person because of your clinical hours and having to touch, see, and feel your profession. So I think, again, it's listening to the students and also our professors who say, yeah, I can't really do this online because I don't feel like I'm giving the quality education that I could be giving in person, and that's totally up to them as well. As a professor, I was given the opportunity to say, this is how I would like to offer this course because I think the combination will do the job. But I'm also going to ask my students, how am I doing?
Yeah, that's a great question. And, 2020, we were just thrown right into it. And and I'm just going to be brutally honest with you, a lot of the old guard had never done anything online whatsoever. And so what you got was a product, you know, that wasn't quite there. It was just watching a lecture, one after another. But what we're talking about now is, you know, the technology, the sophistication of our faculty. You know, it's much, much better. We also have a lot more support where we have graphics designers who help us with the quality and how it looks. We had 4 of those before COVID, and now we have 9. And, you know, they're constantly working with faculty who want to provide the best online hybrid. We're now doing live stream, which is got a lot of potential there as well. So I think it's evolving.
From the technical college side, we also do online to where it could be all online, or it could be hybrid, as Jamie had said too. But we also try to cater to the students as well, because we've always had many students try all online. They say they like the face-to-face interaction, they like being in the room, they like being asked a question right then and not asking and talking to somebody on the Teams or Zoom call or whatever happens with that. And the other key to the online part is also the accreditation part. So like with MTC, we have our accreditors, and then we have to tell them that we want to do online. They check out the curriculum, they make sure that we're doing everything we need to be able to meet what that student needs. A lot of our hybrid is they can do the didactic part, which is all the book work they can do online. They can get the different work. They have study groups they can work, but they still have to come in. They still have to actually touch whatever they're working on, because we have a lot of labs that they have to work on. So they actually have to touch the equipment. They have to demonstrate the skills. They have to practice the skills. So I always think, as we said about AI, we're going to have that personal interaction that has to occur with all education, whether it's online or not online.
Yeah, I would totally agree with that. We are probably the most technologically advanced art college anywhere in the world, because we were such an earlier adapter of the computer becoming the next paintbrush. But nonetheless, we have very few things online, except during COVID. And then we learned we could do it. But again, we have it's like the doctors, you know, it's got to be look and feel, and it's much more of a human element than it is trying to do art online.
Go ahead. Hey, I'm Stacy. I'm a USF grad and a mom of 3 kids that have gone through Manatee County schools. Sorry. And this isn't really a question. It's just more of like, as a resident of Manatee County, I think that you guys are all doing a great job partnering together. I know that the higher education institutions, especially in Florida, are getting harder and harder for our own students to go to, which is a super stressful time for them. You've got kids that have...
Ask your question.
Okay. Well, I was just saying, I think that
She's just following my rules.
yeah, sorry. However you guys are partnering together, I just, you know, I think it's great. And, you know, if you could continue to do that and find a way to like start younger with some of the kids in elementary school and middle schools, reaching out, all those dual enrollment programs and all those things that you guys are all collaborating on, is great. So I guess I don't really have a question. It was more of just wanting to thank you all, because I think having options is helpful.
We do have an organization called the Cross College Alliance, where the colleges are all working together to try to help with students cross-registering with other places and so forth. You know, at least we've been doing that for a number of years. We don't know how long it may last, though.
Thank you for stating that, because that's what one of the questions was, how do you all interact with each other to make sure our local students are able to apply to your schools too?
And if I could just pose the question, it is not hard to get into the Florida University. We are one of the most affordable, accessible. We all collaborate between dual enrollment 2+2. All of our programs are integrated, and that's the promise of the state. And we were founded on that principle, is to give access and to make sure all of our kids can get to some form of a college degree, whether it's technical, more advanced, or again, a state commuter college where you can live, work, and play and get your degree. So we are accessible and affordable. We haven't raised our tuition in 14 years.
So, just wanted to point out that Florida statute dictates that if you earn an AA degree at any of the Florida state colleges, you get automatic admission into any of the universities in the public system. And that, I think we need to shout that out more than we actually do.
I think you do too.
Yeah.
Yes, you're fine.
I'm Sheila, and I too am a very happy customer with Manatee County Schools. I have to say that I had 2 come through MTC and 5 in schools right now, step kids and kids. But I came here from Texas in 2006, and I've been very happy in Manatee County. Biggest difference I saw was they start tackle football in 7th grade in Texas. But seriously,
That's your
the junior high sports were lacking for me. As I was a single mom, then I had 4 sons. So my question is there a plan to make the junior high sports more aligned with high school sports and full seasons where parents don't have to put their kids in pay-to-play sports to get them better and where they compete at the high school level?
That's a good question.
Yeah, the easy answer is yes, and we're and we're working on that. I like to say I was an athlete, but I was a golfer, so I don't think that counts as an athlete. But it does. Well, come on. I mean, but the answer is yes. Because of I know I keep mentioning the millage referendum, but it's important because we did add athletics to it, and that is going to give us the funding to do that into middle schools and to really stretch a lot of the high school sports down into our middle school. So it's something I know Dr. Breslin's very serious about, being a Manatee High grad. So
Go Canes.
we're
We gotta
Good.
give her her time.
yeah, I know.
Give me my time.
So it's a great point, great question. The simple answer is yes, it's coming, and we're working hard on it. But we're a big believer in that as well, for all the reasons why arts and athletics, right, provide that well-rounded education for the students. So we're a big believer in that, and it's coming. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Last question.
Hi, I'm Jane Filesticker, and I'm a member. My question pertains to science education in the area. And a lot of people don't realize that a major portion of science education is the research that the faculty members carry out. As a molecular geneticist, I'm real familiar with that, but most people are not. And I wanted to know what you intend to do to address the need for true and authentic research in the area.
Well, we have a number of professors at the college that are, they're very strong in their skill set. And I remember interviewing one of the doctors for a campaign, and he explained it, and I went, "You're going to have to explain it like I'm a 5-year-old because it was very science." He goes, "I did," and I went, "Oh, try again." But our professors are practicing in their field. They're getting they're published, they're peer reviewed. And I'm very proud that actually one of our students discovered a potential antibody, pink, and actually was published. Are you familiar with it? Okay. And was actually published, So these are the things that they're doing. We encourage and we impassion our professors to do that. We actually just added to our science buildings at our Bradenton campus to add more lab space and things of that nature to constantly encourage the science professions, and we promote them and we encourage our professors to do that. But I don't know if it dates me, but again, when I looked at commuter colleges or state colleges, I kind of had that old school mentality of it's night school and it's where professors went to retire or teach. That's not the case with our state colleges. They are active, they are practicing, they're peer reviewed, and they're really bad. They're really, really good.
I actually want to comment as far as a parent, because my daughter is going to Virginia Tech University right now, and she's doing she's doing materials science engineering. So she's doing a lot of internships and co-ops. I told her you have to have experience before you graduate so you can get a job. You need to have the education and the experience. And so she's saying she wants to go into research. And I said to her, well, how are you going to do that? So that's kind of the question. So I told her, you need to speak to your instructor, you need to speak to your dean of your college, you need to speak to the people at the school. How do I get into research? What do I need to do to get into that? Who do I talk to? What papers do I fill out? Where do I go to get the information? So I just say that to you as a parent to a parent. Our job is to help our kids figure it out, and sometimes they don't know what to do. And even when we tell them, they still don't know what to do. So then we hope somebody else will say something to them. They'll go, oh, oh, that's it. And we go, that's the smartest person in the room because they said the same thing. So that's what I'd say with the research part is I don't think you really flip through a book on a catalog and go, where do I sign up for the research class? It's really that upper level classes for you to be able to do that.
Yeah, you have to encourage them to attend the open houses, and I know a lot of our science programs and whatnot do that, again, because it's discovery, understanding what it means to science, because for some it can be intimidating like math. So encourage the attending open houses, and when I say bad, I mean like good. That's my slang for bad professors, like they're good. They're really good.
I want to, not to cut you all off, but I do want to respect you all's time. When I try to put this panel, I wanted the best of the best. New superintendent, Dr. Breslin, you will have your own time. You are invited. You will have a whole hour by yourself and no interruptions. But so we invite you back to be able to present. And go Canes. That's right. That's right. And my son is a junior at USF. So go Bulls. See, I got my, I love that. But thank you so much. I want you all, starting with Dr. Thompson, if you don't mind ending, just say a few words, about 10 seconds. I know you all are, Skip Jamie. I love you. But let's just be able to close out and tell them a little bit about what you would want to know about your school as we close out, please.
Well, thank you. 10 seconds to say we're one of the very top art and design colleges in the world. So that's what you need to know. It's really amazing to see the kind of art that's being done there and the kinds of, everybody thinks of starving artists. We don't believe in starving artists. How's that?
You can clap. That's good job. I just want to pass on to you about MTC. You know it, but I'm going to say it anyways, that MTC is one of the largest technical colleges in the state of Florida. We feel it's the best. If you've ever been there, you walk in, it's like the Taj Mahal of technical colleges. We're very proud of our teachers, very proud of our students. This year we have outgrown enrollment from previous years. We just keep growing from year to year to year. And if you ever want to donate $40 million for us to be able to build buildings, we'd love to have it because we want to expand. So thank you for all that you do for your support for MTC.
Yes, ma'am. Education will always change, but SCF's mission will always stay the same, to prepare the next generation. Our responsibility is clear: prioritize student well-being, invest wisely in funding, we'll take $40 million. Ensure innovation is matched with integrity. If we get that balance right, the only question left will be the one every student still asks: will this be on the test?
Nice job. I just think we're truly blessed to have institutions like USF, SCF, Ringling, New College right here in our area. I mean, there's not too many communities who can have that kind of high-level institutions like that, and just I think we're truly blessed as a community, and we see the results of that every day. But we just got to remind ourselves of these amazing institutions. So thank you all for running such great institutions for our students and for our future. Yeah.
Thank you, appreciate that. Just wanted to, getting back to the research real quick, you know, we are a Carnegie One intensive research institution. We have over $800 million in federal funding and external funding. We currently have an Alzheimer's study going on down here. It's a $60 million grant, NIH grant. So yeah, we're knee deep in research for sure.
I'm sorry. Please give them all a round of applause. Thank you so much. The best of the best here, our education in Manatee County. I just want to thank you all again. Thank you to all of my board of directors that are present and to the program committee. Thank you so much for all you do. Our next meeting is September 25th, 2025, and we'll be discussing philanthropy and the cuts and how our community is still coming together to make sure that everything that's needed in Manatee County will still move forward. Thank you to TLC Embellishment Catering for lunch. Also, thank you to METV. We appreciate you all coming. ABC7, thank you for being here, and Bradenton Hero for making sure our notices in the paper. Thank you all for being here today. Have a wonderful day.